Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where appearances are polished, social media is curated, and words can be deceiving. But if you really want to understand who someone is, don't just listen to what they say, watch what they do. True character isn't revealed in grand speeches or Instagram posts, it's in the small, seemingly insignificant moments. It's how they treat people who can do nothing for them. It's how they react when life knocks them down. It's how they speak about others when those people aren't there to hear it. I've learned through my own journey that people will show you exactly who they are if you just pay attention. So, the next time you want to understand someone, don't focus on their titles, their charm, or their words. Notice these 5 things. How someone treats those who can't benefit them is one of the clearest and most revealing tests of their true character. It's easy to be kind and respectful to people in positions of power, our bosses, influential figures, or those who can open doors for us. But what truly defines a person is how they behave towards those who have nothing to offer them in return. This small but powerful observation can tell you everything about a person's values, empathy, and integrity. When someone interacts with waiters, cleaners, security guards, drivers, or even strangers on the street, they are not performing for recognition. They are not expecting anything in return. In these moments, their reactions are unfiltered, their manners are genuine, and their true nature is on full display. Some people wear kindness like a mask, putting on their best behavior in front of those who matter to them, but dropping it when dealing with those they perceive as insignificant. You may have seen it yourself, a person speaking sweetly to their manager, showing charm and grace in a meeting, but turning cold and dismissive towards the janitor who walks by. That shift in attitude is not just impolite, it reveals a fundamental lack of respect for people based on their status rather than their humanity. True kindness doesn't discriminate. A person with real character understands that every individual, regardless of their role in society, deserves dignity and respect. A great leader acknowledges the team behind them. A genuinely compassionate person thanks the person cleaning their table. Someone with a good heart recognizes that respect is not a privilege given only to the powerful, but a basic right that should be extended to all. Think about the times you've seen people interact with customer service workers. Well, have you ever witnessed someone losing their temper over a small inconvenience, snapping at a cashier for a minor mistake, or speaking rudely to a hotel staff member? These reactions might seem insignificant in the moment, but they speak volumes. If someone can belittle another person simply because they hold a position of perceived lower status, it shows a sense of entitlement, a lack of patience, and a failure to recognize the effort that goes into every job. On the other hand, there are those who take a moment to acknowledge people, smile, and offer a kind word. They make eye contact with the waiter, say thank you to the janitor, and appreciate the hard work of those around them. These are the people whose character stands tall even when no one is watching. The way someone treats others who can't benefit them is not just about politeness. It's about values. It reflects their sense of gratitude, humility, and emotional intelligence. It reveals whether they see people as mere stepping stones to their own success or as fellow human beings deserving of kindness. Some of the greatest and most inspiring individuals in history have been known for their ability to connect with people at every level. They didn't measure a person's worth based on their job title or social standing. They understood that true respect is not conditional, it is a way of life. When you meet someone who carries themselves with this understanding, you will notice their energy is different. Their warmth is genuine and their kindness is consistent, no matter who they are speaking to. If you want to truly know someone, don't just observe how they behave in important meetings or how they interact with influential figures. Watch them when they are speaking to a waiter, a security guard, or a stranger on the street. That's when their real character is revealed. Failure and setbacks are an inevitable part of life, yet how a person responds to them speaks volumes about their true character. Some see failure as a stopping point, a reason to give up, or place blame elsewhere, while others use it as fuel to push forward, grow, and become stronger. The way someone handles disappointment, rejection, and hardship reveals not just their resilience, but also their mindset, emotional strength, and integrity. When faced with failure, some people react with anger, denial, or defensiveness. They find it easier to blame circumstances, other people, or even luck, rather than taking responsibility for their own mistakes. These individuals often avoid introspection because acknowledging their shortcomings feels like a threat to their ego. Instead of learning from the experience, they dwell on it with bitterness, sometimes even resenting those who succeed where they fell short. This kind of response not only prevents growth, but also affects relationships and opportunities. A person who refuses to take ownership of their failures can become stuck in a cycle of repeating the same mistakes, never truly evolving. On the other hand, those with a strong character approach failure differently. They see it as a learning experience, an opportunity to improve. Rather than being consumed by self-pity, they analyze what went wrong, identify the lessons, and adapt. They understand that setbacks do not define them. How they respond to those setbacks does. This mindset allows them to embrace challenges with courage, knowing that temporary defeat is not the end of the road, but a stepping stone to something greater. Jenny, people who handle failure well also display emotional control. They don't lash out at others, nor do they allow disappointment to consume them. Instead, they process their emotions, find ways to stay motivated, and move forward with determination. This ability to regulate emotions under pressure is a true sign of inner strength. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks can come in many forms: losing a job, failing in business, facing personal rejection, or experiencing an unexpected obstacle. Those who are able to maintain composure and keep a positive outlook through difficult times demonstrate maturity and resilience. Another key trait of those who handle failure well is their willingness to seek feedback and accept constructive criticism. Instead of seeing critique as an attack, they welcome it as a tool for improvement. They surround themselves with people who challenge them and help them grow, rather than only seeking validation. This openness to learning is what sets successful individuals apart. They understand that every great leader, innovator, and achiever has faced failure, but used it as motivation to keep pushing forward. Some of the most accomplished people in the world have encountered failure multiple times before reaching success. The difference between them and those who remain stuck is their mindset. They refuse to let failure define them, and they do not allow setbacks to break their spirit. They continue to take risks, try again, and pursue their goals with even greater determination. Beyond professional or personal success, the way someone deals with failure also reveals their level of humility. People who can admit when they were wrong, acknowledge their mistakes, and take responsibility show a depth of character that is admirable. They do not let pride get in the way of growth. Instead of making excuses, they own their failures and use them to become better versions of themselves. The way someone handles failure also affects the people around them. Those who react with grace and resilience inspire others to do the same. They create an environment where failure is not something to be ashamed of, but something to learn from. They lift others up, share their own struggles openly, and show that setbacks are not roadblocks but stepping stones. They understand that true strength is not about never failing, but about always rising after a fall. The way someone speaks about others when they are not around is one of the most telling signs of their true character. Words have power, and the way a person chooses to use them, whether to uplift, recite, or betray, reveals much about their values, integrity, and emotional maturity. When people talk about others behind their backs, it is often unfiltered, free from the need to impress or maintain a facade. This is why listening carefully to how someone speaks about those who are not present can give deep insight into who they really are. Some people make a habit of speaking negatively about others when they are not around. They gossip, spread rumors, and criticize, often without a second thought. At times, this is done out of insecurity, as putting others down can make them feel superior. Other times, it is a habit formed from social conditioning, where conversations naturally drift towards discussing other people's flaws and failures. But regardless of the reason, consistently speaking negatively about others shows a lack of respect and emotional intelligence. It signals that the person is more focused on tearing others down rather than lifting themselves up. A person who frequently engages in gossip and negativity also reveals their inability to be trusted. If they speak poorly about others in private, it is only a matter of time before they do the same about their closest friends, colleagues, or even family. Those who indulge in this behavior may believe they are simply engaging in harmless conversation, but in reality, they are demonstrating disloyalty and a tendency to betray trust. The way someone speaks about others when they are absent is often the same way they will speak about you when you are not around. On the other hand, those with strong character choose their words carefully. They understand that speaking negatively about others, especially when they cannot defend themselves, serves no real purpose. Instead, they focus on constructive discussions, finding the good in people, or, if necessary, addressing concerns directly, rather than behind closed doors. When someone consistently speaks positively about others or refrains from engaging in gossip, it reflects their integrity. It shows that they are confident enough in themselves that they do not need to bring others down to feel important. People who handle conversations with maturity also know the importance of giving others the benefit of the doubt. They do not jump to conclusions based on rumors or partial information. Instead of assuming the worst about someone, they choose to see situations with fairness and understanding. They recognize that everyone has struggles and flaws, and they do not use others' weaknesses as entertainment or conversation starters. The way someone talks about others when they are not present also reflects their sense of empathy. A kind and compassionate person will speak of others with understanding, even if they disagree with them. They may acknowledge faults, but do so in a way that is constructive rather than malicious. Instead of using someone's shortcomings as an opportunity to mock or judge, they may reflect on how they can offer help or simply recognize that everyone has challenges. There is also a strong connection between how someone speaks about others and their own inner peace. Those who constantly criticize, judge, or gossip often carry negativity within themselves. They may feel unfulfilled or insecure, projecting those feelings onto others through their words. On the contrary, people who speak positively, encourage others, and avoid unnecessary negativity tend to have a more balanced and content outlook on life. Beyond personal integrity, how someone speaks about others also influences the people around them. When a person engages in gossip and negativity, they create an environment of distrust and toxicity. It makes others question whether they too are being spoken about in the same way when they are not present. However, when someone chooses to uplift others, or at least remain neutral in conversations, they contribute to a culture of respect and trust. A truly admirable person is one who speaks with kindness and honesty, even when there is no audience to impress. They do not engage in tearing others down for personal amusement or gain. They understand that their words have weight and that how they choose to talk about others ultimately reflects more on them than on the people they are discussing. The ability to control one's words, to avoid unnecessary negativity, and to uplift rather than destroy is a sign of deep character and emotional intelligence. Power has a way of revealing a person's true nature. It strips away pretense and exposes the deepest parts of their character. When someone gains power, whether through wealth, status, authority, or influence, the way they choose to handle it speaks volumes about who they really are. Some use power to uplift, inspire, and serve, while others use it to dominate, manipulate, and belittle. The choices a person makes when they hold power show whether they are driven by integrity or self-interest. One of the first things to notice when someone has power is how they treat those who are beneath them in hierarchy. A person with a strong moral compass understands that power is not a tool for control, but a responsibility to lead with fairness and respect. They remain grounded, treating subordinates, employees, or those with less influence with the same dignity they would offer to someone of equal or higher status. They listen, value opinions, and ensure that others feel seen and heard. 4. However, when someone uses power to intimidate, dismiss, or disrespect those who cannot fight back, it reveals an insecure and egotistical nature. They may believe that their status entitles them to superiority, but in reality, it only highlights their lack of humility. Another revealing trait is how someone behaves when their power is challenged. A person who is secure in their leadership does not fear opposition or differing opinions. They welcome constructive criticism, knowing that true strength lies in listening and adapting. They do not feel threatened by others' success or intelligence, but instead encourage growth and progress. In contrast, those who misuse power often react to challenges with hostility or defensiveness. They silence others, refuse to acknowledge their mistakes, and create an environment of fear rather than respect. This kind of reaction exposes their fragility and their need to maintain control at any cost. A key marker of character is whether someone uses power for personal gain or for the greater good. Some individuals see power as an opportunity to serve, to create positive change, and to uplift others. They understand that their influence comes with a duty to act ethically and to contribute meaningfully. They make decisions that benefit more than just themselves, prioritizing fairness over favoritism. However, there are also those who see power as a means to fulfill their own desires, disregarding the needs and well-being of others. They exploit resources, manipulate situations to their advantage, and seek validation through dominance rather than contribution. How a person acts when no one is watching is another defining aspect of their relationship with power. True character is not displayed in grand public gestures, but in small, unnoticed decisions. A person with integrity will uphold their values even when there is no reward or recognition. They will remain honest, just, and considerate regardless of who is observing. On the other hand, someone who abuses power often behaves differently behind closed doors. They may put on a facade of kindness and fairness in public, while making unethical or self-serving choices in private. This duality shows that their leadership is not rooted in genuine values, but in the need for external validation. Power also tests a person's humility. A strong character remains humble despite success, acknowledging that power is temporary and should not define one's identity. They recognize the contributions of others, give credit where it is due, and do not allow status to cloud their humanity. In contrast, those who let power consume them often develop arrogance. They begin to believe they are above the rules, entitled to special treatment, and superior to those around them. This kind of attitude creates distance, making it difficult for people to trust or respect them genuinely. The ability to balance power with empathy is what separates great leaders from mere authority figures. A person of true character does not let power change their core values. They remain kind, just, and self-aware, using their position to create opportunities rather than obstacles. They understand that real influence is not about control, but about inspiration. They lead not by fear, but by example, proving that power, when handled with integrity, can be a force for good. The way someone behaves when no one is watching is the purest reflection of their true character. It is easy to put on a facade in front of an audience, to act kind, ethical, or hard-working when people are paying attention. But when all eyes are off them, when there is no expectation, reward, or accountability, that is when a person's true nature emerges. Integrity is not about how a person acts when they are being observed. It is about the choices they make when there is no pressure to impress anyone. Some people maintain their values regardless of who is watching, while others only act a certain way when they know they will be judged or praised for it. A person who is genuinely honest, respectful, and disciplined does not need external validation to do the right thing. They hold themselves to a standard not because others are watching, but because it is a part of who they are. One of the most telling aspects of private behavior is honesty. A person who is honest when no one is watching does not cheat, lie, or cut corners simply because they can get away with it. They do not take advantage of situations that allow for dishonesty, even if there is no risk of getting caught. In contrast, someone who only values honesty when they are afraid of consequences will easily betray their principles the moment they believe no one will find out. This distinction between situational morality and true integrity is what defines a person's real character. Kindness is another trait that is most revealing when practiced in private. It is easy to be generous and compassionate when there is an audience. when acts of kindness are met with praise or admiration. But the truest form of kindness is the one given in silence, without expectation of recognition. It is the person who helps someone in need without announcing it, who speaks kindly of others even when there is no benefit in doing so, who chooses to uplift rather than judge when there is no social pressure. When someone is only kind in public but indifferent or cruel in private, it becomes clear that their kindness is a performance rather than a deeply held value. Work ethic and discipline also reveal themselves in private moments. Many people appear dedicated and hardworking when they are being supervised or when their efforts will be acknowledged. But true dedication is shown when there is no one to impress, no immediate reward, and no external motivation. A person who maintains discipline in solitude, who stays committed to their goals even when no one is holding them accountable, demonstrates a level of self-respect and inner strength that cannot be faked. On the other hand, those who only put in effort when being watched often lack true commitment, relying on external pressure rather than internal motivation. The way someone treats others in private also speaks volumes about their character. When a person is alone, their real thoughts and opinions come to the surface. Do they speak about others with kindness and respect, even when no one is there to judge them? Or do they mock, insult, or belittle behind closed doors? A person who genuinely values respect and decency does not change their tone based on the presence of an audience. They treat others with dignity, whether or not anyone will know about it. Temptation is another powerful test of character. When given the opportunity to do something unethical, selfish, or harmful without any immediate consequences, what choice does a person make? Some will give in to temptation the moment they believe they will not be caught, while others will hold firm to their principles, knowing that their actions define who they are, even if no one else ever finds out. This is what separates those with real integrity from those who are only moral for appearance's sake. A person's private behavior also reflects their emotional strength and self-control. When no one is there to judge them, do they give in to anger, resentment, or destructive habits? Or do they strive to maintain a sense of balance even when they are alone? Someone who consistently acts with discipline, kindness, and honesty in their most private moments is someone whose character is built on true values rather than on the need for validation. The way a person behaves when no one is watching is the closest glimpse into their soul. It is the most authentic version of who they are, unfiltered by social expectations or external pressures. Their choices in solitude, when there is no one to impress and no consequences to fear, define whether they are truly good or simply pretending to be.